If you take a very serious problem like sexual abuse, we've had more calls about sexual abuse from children in the last year than ever before. Well over 13,000. Nearly 500 of those children were under 7. Most of the children who talk to us about sexual abuse are being abused by someone in the family. Only 4% of our calls are stranger abuse. And if those children can't get through to the only help they dare ask, that's the nightmare. And how many more are trying to get through and failing?
When I was little, I started going dancing. I met 2 boys there. Basically, their dad started getting a bit over-friendly and started to abuse me. I was really confused and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand, and I knew it wasn't normal, but I didn't know what it was to go and tell anyone. I kept it to myself and it just kept getting worse.
When children have been sexually abused, they're often very confused about what's happened to them, and they need someone who can initially just listen.
We will work at the child's pace with the child as a partner, not imposing any solutions on children until we make them safe.
When it first started, I was really confused because I was only about 7 at the time. I really did blame myself. I didn't understand why it was happening to me, and I didn't understand what he was doing or why, when he had his own children, it wasn't happening to them. It kind of made me feel like I was a favourite, but in a really strange way. Like this was a weird way to show that you like someone. It made me feel angry, really, and I didn't understand it, so I didn't say anything. And I suppose you get used to having that much attention solely on you, but it's definitely the wrong kind of attention, and you hate it, but you can't do anything about it.
One person that has become a friend of mine is Jo, who really, really depended upon Childline when she was young and had nowhere else to turn.
I was abused for about 6 years, and I suppose at first you don't realise anything's wrong. You know, my parents would have this man look after me, or I'd be round at him and his wife's house because my parents were going out, or he'd offer to babysit if my parents couldn't afford to pay a babysitter. I called Childline in the first place because I realised that obviously what was happening to me, being sexually abused, was wrong, and that for the first time there was something that I felt I could do about it. I still had to see my abuser, but the main difference was that the abuse had stopped, and I was stronger in myself and able to keep myself safe if put in a difficult situation. I suppose really I felt relieved after that first call. It was obviously daunting and I had decisions to make, but I felt that someone believed me and that there were options available to me to stop the abuse from happening.
We know that before Childline, many children and young people suffered for a very long time, unable to tell anyone what was going on for them. They may have been sexually or physically abused for months or even years, unable to tell a single person.
When I was a young child in the 50s, I was born in 51, and my abuse started probably in 53. You know, there was nowhere for me to go to. I was frightened of him, my father anyway, who abused me. But there was nowhere for me to ring. And it went on from being 3 till I was about 14. He was a bully, he was a big man. You wouldn't answer him back. There was nowhere for me to go to seek help. My thought was on Childline when it first got launched. I thought it was the best thing that had ever happened. It was such a relief to know that they were publicising help to give to young children who were being abused. And I thought, yeah, now it's never going to go back now. It's never going to get unnoticed, the Childline. It's going to be here forever.
Childline helped me because they gave me a sense of empowerment and knowing that if you want help you can get it. All you've got to do is ask for it.
My advice to anyone in the same situation would be to please talk out and ring Childline, because it really does help and it might just stop the abuse from happening. Just don't feel scared, because people do believe you, they really do.
What I hope is that if people really want to help children and want to help us provide the only lifeline for some of these children who are in such desperate need, people will feel able to donate to this appeal. We will make sure that every penny we're given is properly used, and we just rely on the public who care about children and believe in our work.